Hey everybody, this is going to be a short video on how to breathe deeper. I've got two tools, one of which is a towel, one of which is a belt. Let's see. Okay, so in breathing deeper, referring to the lungs, and so if you feel your collarbones just right here, and then down to the rib cage, this whole area, you got a smaller lung on the left side because you've got your heart. You've got a nice big right lung in most cases, and then there's the rib cage here, and then you've got your belly. And so for many people, like in yoga classes or meditation, being told to breathe deeper, you might see the chest come up, and that does bring in more air in the upper lobes, upper parts of the lung. But it can be really nice to encourage a deep breath, one, because there's a feeling of fullness, and also there are nerve bundles in the lower parts of the lung that can be stimulated with deep breath, and then it relays a signal for parasympathetic nervous system to help you calm down. And conversely, the same way there's different kinds of stress responses, there are nerve bundles in the upper lobes of the lungs, and so if you have that kind of hyperventilating type breath, it will make your body go more into sympathetic, the fight or flight response. I'm not a doctor, that's just a little science stuff. I've got a belt here and I've got a towel here. They're going to provide restriction as the chest expands. So just really quick, so you're not in suspense. I'm going to take the belt and I'm not going to latch it just to be safe. And right kind of around my nipples, that area, just taking it and grabbing it. And right now I have kind of an empty breath, and what I'm going to try and do is breathe gently into the belt. And so right away it's a little bit too tight, and I'm loosening it now until I can take a full, I guess full-ish breath, but still feeling the constriction of the belt. And so for me, that's a good tightness. This is all relative, so it doesn't matter how far it is on my belt. Now I've got it just below my nipple, technically, kind of like halfway down the rib cage. And we have the belt here because it's going to show you where you aren't breathing, and it's going to make it more helpful. So really quick, you breathe in through nose or mouth or a medical device, whatever your circumstances are, and the lungs fill up like little fleshy balloons, and they inflate and deflate. And there's tiny, I don't know, thousands or millions of them. But you have your diaphragm muscle right here, and it's like this, and when you breathe in, it flexes and creates a vacuum. And so breath comes in, and you can also do things like lifting the shoulders, and that will create more space up here. And so the breath is very dynamic, there's lots of movement, and we have this belt to help encourage more of those little flesh balloons, alveoli I think they're called, to fill up. And also having the belt kind of 360 all around the chest helps to feedback and notice what areas aren't being inflated. Like for instance, for a long time I had a really wide breath, and I didn't notice how awkward it felt until one day a yoga friend showed me, and then I was able to breathe in the front and back directions as well. I've been using a belt for the example, but I'm going to switch to the towel because it's the exact same, just a long thing that's strong enough for you to breathe against. So I'm rolling it up just so it's easier to handle. And again, it goes to the biggest part of the chest, the strongest, where you can breathe into it. You can move it around as you go. So I'm not tying it, I'm just holding it and then breathing in. And so actually practicing it, you just spend time very gently, trying to encourage the belly to expand outwards. to encourage the breath coming in instead of the chest. And so you can try the difference just with the chest. I feel restricted because I'm unable to expand in the just around the rib cage. There's a feeling of kind of fighting it because the shoulders can only go out so much. I really like to encourage you to bring in the belly. Now, important also, anytime you're using a new area of your body, you've got muscle settings, so to speak, you've got fascia, and you've got like nerves that are all going to adapt to this new setting. So me personally, I had a lot of belly tension. Like people say they hold anxiety or different emotions in different ways. And I was a really tense kid. So when I started doing deep breathing, it felt like I was getting punched in the gut because there was so much weirdness. Sometimes it's just painful to feel things. And so I do want to warn you that this can be kind of stimulating, but just the outline of the rib cage and then where the belt is, you can have your hands there and just with the breath, just trying to get the hands to move farther away and towards the spine. And so breathing in deeply, the diaphragm contracts and the lower abdomen expands, allowing air to come into the chest. And when you breathe out, the chest relaxes and the abdomen pulls in. And now we have the diaphragm, which has to flex to create the breath coming in, because when it's relaxed, it's like that. But the abdomen, we can forcibly kind of move a little bit more. And so on the exhalation, it can be really nice to, wherever your belly button is, to pull it back towards the spine. And so you can use your towel if you want to get right into it, but let's just say 5 deep breaths to notice the belly. And so if you have one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, they're going to be your indicators. And I'm turning so you can see more. And I personally like to have it like a wave, and the wave rises and then falls. It's like just back and forth. And so inhaling, the belly comes out. I'll do it where the actual hand is. In the chest. And then exhaling, chest, and then belly button pulls back. Inhaling, belly releases. And the chest inflates. Exhaling. And hopefully you can see my hands showing the actual wave. And there's no competition aspect to the breathing. This is just oxygenating the body, releasing tension in the abdomen. Hopefully all these things that I'm sharing have noticeable, consistent, precise, and accurate effects. But now using the same deeper breathing with the towel, I like to bring it really high because I used to smoke a lot, and I still do smoke sometimes. And I feel that the upper lobes of the lungs, for me personally, are not nearly as strong as the lower part. So I like to try and do a little bit more for the upper lobes, just for my circumstances. I'm totally fine. It's just attention to detail thing. So taking our towel or belt, you can use anything, but like a rope or something, since it's so thin, it might feel like it's kind of pinching into you. And towel or belt are nice. So I'm holding the rib cage here. I'm going to do the same belly breathing that we were doing a second ago, just also noticing the whole rib cage, noticing it feeling like you're a circle. You can feel every direction because you can. You don't have to look at it. You can just notice, oh, my armpit doesn't feel as sensitive as my sternum right in the center or something, or vice versa. Just noticing your own body for the process. And so I'm starting with just like a normal breath, like when you get on the subway or when you finally get home. Just noticing. And then now coming into the deeper breath. Also, I think I called that 10 breaths earlier. This is all on the fly, but it is valuable. I'm going to have my hand here just so you can see visually, but I'm still focusing also on keeping the chest restriction tight. And again, we're not restricting the lungs for like I mean, there's a strengthening aspect. This is an exercise to bring more air into the lungs easily and to train the chest to breathe in all directions, just helping the flow naturally. My hand's just showing that it's a circle, which is a natural flow. Having a lot of fun. Okay. Hand on belly, squeezing towel, just breathing in, starting from the lower abdomen, and then rising up to the chest. Inhaling. Now don't try to fight the towel where it's tight. Try to equalize the pressure throughout the whole surface area that's being touched by the towel. And then I'm releasing the towel. And I'm going to continue the same practice as if the towel was there, just now noticing what is freshly discovered since using the towel. Before you finish, go back to your daily activity. These practices are physical, spiritual practices, but they are so common and widely taught across different cultures because they do seem to have strong effects. So me personally feeling that breathing exercise, I noticed some calmness, but also kind of a stimulation. Breathing deeply literally does oxygenate the blood and flush out CO2. And if that's an uncommon feeling, it can be kind of intense. So just take it very gently. After anything that I share, it's good to have some water and a little bit of food. Yeah. I hope you practiced this. If you do it more often, it will make more sense, and some of the weird in-between stuff I say will turn out to be instructions in between instructions, I hope. Yeah. Have a great day, month, year, life, forever, and hope things are going well for you.